There is something that lacks in Africa. And what is lacking in African context is advocacy, campaign advocacy, and activism towards the goals we want to achieve. As Dr. Jao has said, instead of just being activists and instead of being only academic, time has come to become lobbyists, advocates for these goals. For example, if you ask how many leaders in Africa have alerted us, have asked their nationals what they should present in the UN General Assembly. If you ask anybody here on this platform whether Miriam knows what is going to be said at the United Nations General Assembly, Miriam, you won't know. But leaders have gone, have they alerted the entire Africa and said, this time all African leaders should sit in the African caucus when they reach New York and decide that we are not going to speak, many of us, with speeches. We just want one man to read our memorandum and tell the United Nations, you have disturbed that for 77 years. Now we want 2 seats or a seat or 3 seats, slots on the Security Council. The United Nations Security Council, there are 4 elements that disturb Africa. 4 elements that kill Africa. And that will make us never, even on this panel now, if you don't agree with them, then you will say, I did not go to school, but I have tried. Element number 1 that disturbs Africa is democracy. We don't know what it is. Followed by element number 2, elections. One produces the other. People think that so many elections make a lot of democracy. No. Element number 3 is United Nations Security Council. Is one of the most disturbing issues on the continent of Africa. Why do I say so? Anytime, if they want you, they will ban you. They will put embargo on you. If they don't want you to buy anything, deliver any food to any country, they will put sanctions on you. If they find you dealing with this one, they will tell you, we don't want you to deal with Russia. And then we want you to deal with Ukraine. Do you see that isn't it destabilizing Africa? For example, recently, the question of Ukraine and Russia, we are told that if countries in Africa were found, one guy brought something very interesting here, and that is Ajao. Ajao brought something very interesting. Ajao brought something to say, the chairman of African Union was found in Ukraine laughing, but he has never traveled to Tigray, in the capital city, Bekele. He has never been to Bekele to see the plight of the people dying in Ethiopia. But he was seen smiling in the bunker in Ukraine, saying he is going to look for food for Africa. But there are people suffering up here in Ethiopia. So United Nations Security Council also blocks Africa, divides Africa, until we get a slot. We are not. The last factor that destroys our continent, therefore, as I summarize and I thank all of you, is corruption. Corruption meted on Africa by darker forces that don't want us to unite, and by ourselves who ask for this corruption. If there is a tender from Africa outside, you will ask for 10%. And that 10% goes to your pocket. But the company giving you the 10% will tell you, we want your oil. So who is worse? Is it you or the company buying? Because that one is in business. Corruption kills Africa. That's why you see all of us start moving towards United Nations divided. Even today, now, right now, Ajao has told us you need to be westernized before you arrive in New York. So if you propose Kenya, people will say, no, Kenya is not westernized. If you propose Egypt, you say, no, Egypt is too close to the Gulf states. Israel will lobby some people. I am on the right track. Israel will lobby someone for Egypt not to be given the slot. Did you know that? So corruption comes from outside. It corrupts institutions, it corrupts the heads of state. I saw it during the selection of African Union head chairperson in 2016, when we were in AU, Amina Mohammed versus Mahamat Faki. That is the time when I saw Africa in the worst format of it. The worst format of Africa, where English-speaking countries united against French-speaking countries, where ECOWAS united with French-speaking countries, and the English-speaking countries in ECOWAS went and united with the French to select Mahamat Faki because he's from Chad. Nigeria was one of the countries that actually fought so hard for Mr. Mahamat Faki to become the chairperson of African Union. And it has killed African Union. It is not functioning. It is a walking corpse. As it walks, it is on paper. It can't ask for even a resolution. It can't ask for a slot. It can't enforce an ICC ban that no African head of state should be airlifted and tried in The Hague, except try them on the continent of Africa. The late Mugabe gave $1 million check. I was there. I was in the conference. Tears came down when a country, a man without money, his country was in a painful state, gave out money for the sake of African Union. Uhuru Kenyatta in 2017, gave a check of $1 million for setting up of African Union, African Court of Justice and Human Rights. If you ask about that money, you might not get it anywhere. I close and land by thanking all of you that this show, and thanking Punchline and thanking Miriam, as I hand over the mic to Miriam to say a few words before we conclude, because you are the main headquarters. You are on the steering, Madam. I would like to ask you to pass a vote of thanks to our guests this afternoon, please.